Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity and for the award. My name is Alex, and I'm going to talk to you about solid-state cooling as an alternative to vapor compression. So I'm a PhD candidate in material science. So the challenge that we're facing is costly cooling. As you are aware, CFCs damage the ozone, which has led to the Montreal Convention banning their use for refrigeration. So we have moved on to HFCs now for refrigeration. However, they contribute heavily to global warming. And for this reason, the EU has decided to cut down on the use of HFCs by 2/3 by 2030. However, the alternatives to HFCs have other problems. For example, they have limited efficiency, or for ammonia they're poisonous, and for butane they're explosive. And there is no gas at the moment that doesn't have a major flaw in one of these categories. So the solution is to use a solid-state refrigerant. Caloric materials, which is the topic of my research, have the property that they heat up when you compress them. Then you can release the heat into the environment. Then you release the pressure and they cool down. Then you can absorb the heat from inside the fridge, and then you can repeat this cycle. So like that, yeah. They can be used to replace the refrigerants in vapor compression systems. And through my research, I have found an excellent material that has a very high refrigeration capacity. These are the top candidate published materials at the moment, and this is my material. And because it was quite good, so we filed a patent for it with my supervisor. And the advantages of using a solid-state refrigerant is that potentially it can be more efficient by around 10%. Because for vapor, you need to go from liquid to gas. So at one point of the cycle, all of the liquid needs to be in the liquid state, and then the other part, it all needs to be gas. So you need to heat it and cool it. This requires extra energy, but this is not needed for a solid material. Then it can be potentially 2,000 times more compact, because solid is more compact than gas. And it doesn't have any of the environmentally unfriendly effects. And it doesn't escape into the environment. So this can be used for the cooling of food and beverage, for air conditioning of cars and buildings, and for building of heat pumps. So what has been my progress so far? In 2015, I synthesized the material. Then I characterized it from 2015 to then. That led to filing of the patent. And based on the patent, we have almost completed our first prototype. And just recently, we received another grant to build a second prototype. So I'm currently participating at the Impulse program in the Maxwell Center to see how I could commercialize the patents and the prototypes together, potentially in a startup, or perhaps licensing the material to various companies. So we've been in touch with the following companies directly, with their technical teams. The biggest company we work with is Beko. So that's our collaborator for the prototype. But more recently, I've been in touch with Citrine Informatics to see if I could license the material through them. So thanks to the CSAR Award, I was able to travel to California to meet with the founder of the company. So the founder is actually an alumni from my lab. And that's him, Greg Mulholland. And that's me, wearing almost the same clothes. So we're looking at ways how we could perhaps use that technology to find new materials, because they're the only company at the moment that apply machine learning to material informatics. And it's particularly interesting to me because I actually have a background in scientific computing and material science, which is quite a rare combination. So this company is a rare combination of these subjects. So I guess I won't torture you anymore with my talk. And thank you very much for listening. Yeah.
So another great questions, if anybody has one.
Yeah.
Gentleman down here.
Yeah, given that your solid state thing can either be heating or cooling at one time, how do you maintain a continuous cooling process?
Yeah, so given that it heats up and cools down, how do you maintain a cooling process? So this is the main challenge, in fact, because once you have the material, then you need to build the pump, for vapor compression, it's the compressor. You need to build a system around your material to perform the cooling. And this has been the main challenge of the prototype. But, so actually, I have the, okay. Anyway, so that's, is that, yeah. There's one more picture of the prototype there. Sorry. This one. So this is actually the prototype that we've built, that we're getting to work. So you have the material here, and you pump liquid inside. And every time where you apply the pressure, then you remove the cold liquid into the fridge. But then when it gets hot, you remove the heat into the environment. So yeah.
Is there one more question down here? Yes.
What's the life longevity with existing systems?
Again, could you repeat the question?
What's the life longevity compared to the existing systems? So that's actually the main advantage of using a material based on compression, because it doesn't have any deterioration. The material itself doesn't have any deterioration. The system you build around it may deteriorate, because the piston may deteriorate or other things may deteriorate, but not the material. Because there are other technologies based on uniaxial stress, like shape memory alloys, for example. They deteriorate after use. The material itself deteriorates. Yeah.
And last one there, sir.
Can you tell us anything about the material itself?
Yeah, actually the patent got published. So it's an organic salt, barium dicalcium propionate. So it's like, yeah, sorry I didn't include it because I'm just so used to keeping it secret. But the public, yeah. Yeah, so.
But now it's patented, so it's secure.
Yeah.
Well done indeed.